Palestine Advocacy Network. Now we move on to our next news. A major diplomatic rift is deepening after the United States imposed sanctions on United Nations human rights expert Francesca Albanese. The UN Special Rapporteur, who has repeatedly condemned Israel's actions in Gaza, dismissed the U.S. move as mafia-style intimidation techniques. Albanese, who monitors human rights in the occupied Palestinian territories, said she remains focused on holding nations accountable under international law. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the sanctions, accusing her of waging political and economic warfare against the U.S. and Israel. The move has drawn sharp criticism from global rights groups and UN officials. Albanese also called out European governments for allowing Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to travel through their airspace despite an ICC arrest warrant. UN Rights Chief Volker Turk has demanded the sanctions be reversed, warning that such attacks on UN experts undermine international institutions. Now let's listen into what the UN experts had to say on the sanctions.
I mean, this is a record. I am the first UN person to be imposed a sanction for what? For having exposed the genocide? For having denounced the system? I mean, they've never challenged me on the facts. I'm giving these companies the opportunity to correct me. Instead, they've gone whining to the US administration to treat me as they are. It's okay. This speaks to who they are. Yes, of course it will be challenging, but what I want to say, if a human being, I'm just a human being, I'm not even paid to do what I'm doing, okay? So I'm putting really everything I have in the line. If I can do that, all of you, all your people, all your politicians, and my people can do at least that. Together we can stand this pressure, and together we can really get out of this genocide as with a hope for a better world, because otherwise it would be much worse.
Now we're joined for this discussion with John Rossomando. He's a president of Viking Research Associates and a geopolitical analyst, joining us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you, John, for joining us today. Good to see you. Thank you. How unprecedented is it for the U.S. to impose such sanctions on a UN human rights expert? And what message does this send internationally?
Well, let's put it this way. The United Nations has been a biased partner in all of this. It has done absolutely nothing to stop Hamas from firing rockets, did nothing to prevent it from smuggling weapons, diverting international humanitarian aid, to build military tunnels under schools, under hospitals, under mosques, which according to the 1949 Geneva Convention deprives those structures of protection under an international law. And the United Nations, the UNWRA, has had Hamas members on its staff, and we've had evidence that the UN had some of its employees involved in the massacre of Israelis. So, calling them a concern about human rights is absolutely ridiculous.
And John, do you think this will set a precedent for targeting other international officials who criticize such major powers?
Well, it's not a matter of criticizing major powers. This isn't about free speech. This is about a United Nations entity not being a neutral partner in this. It's been a biased organization that has protected the terrorists. Let's put it this way: there is no occupation in Gaza. Israel withdrew in 2005. I mean, the mistake that the West made was allowing elections that brought Hamas to power, and Hamas decided to turn Gaza into a terrorist emirate that's no different than ISIS in Raqqa or ISIS in Mosul. And its ultimate goal, according to Hamas leaders, destruction of Israel to build their caliphate.
Thank you, John, for sharing that insight. You will stay with us as